Okay, sport fans, one last thing. These reports, how did they get there? So let's see, total units for each product sold. So every single product sold is on this report. How many times? I don't think it's ordered by anything. Maybe we should revisit that and order that. Um, right now it's just by products. That's okay, but maybe we want to sort it by product name, or maybe sort it by frequency, number of times sold, or units. These are just the top 10 selling products. This one is sorted, looks like, by revenue. So how do those reports get there? And then here's another one. This is just summarizing. So this is summarizing the each invoice. So it's either, so this is one product. Invoice 10 had 4 products. Invoice 12 had 5 units. So we can see number of line items. That's interesting. Market width, number of units, that's volume, and there's our revenue. And so on average, now this is getting a little interesting. And that, how do you know you're an analyst? Do you just keep thinking of new reports? How do you keep thinking of new reports? Because you're a business person. So please, again, don't just be a SQL guru or a SQL expert or tech expert. Tech exists to support the business, so understand the business needs. So where my mind went to spur that randomness was, hey, I wonder what customer buys on average. Their average product was only one product, but it's $25. There's other customers that are higher value. Well, the average thing they buy costs more money, put it that way. So different customers are different. So here we see sales ID, but if this was cross-tabulated by customer, that would be interesting. So this is just by sale, the average price. So, sale 5 was a good one, for example, and sale 2 was just, small potatoes. But I was thinking this would be interesting if we could see which customers bought more expensive stuff and which customers didn't. And that's called target marketing. So please use technology to solve business problems. And now you're adding value and helping your company. And I would just recommend being proactive, making suggestions for improvements, rather than just be the tech person that waits. All right, so there's always something that could be improved, and I hope you get that vibe to, just try to improve things. How do you improve things, Featherman? Make new reports, make new columns of metrics. When you make your reports, dial people in. All right, I'm going off the deep end here, but look, we get 4 reports. This one does not look summarized. This does not look like a group by query, but the rest of them are summarized. So for example, sale 8 had 4 line items. They were condensed into this one summary of sale 8. So that's a group by query. How many times was each product sold? So the red Puma, oh, those are nice. They were sold 4 times. So that is a group by query. So it went through all the sales and summarized how many times each product was sold. That's a group the sales by product. And this is the same thing, just filtering that down to the top 10. So there's my red Pumas. I guess you know what I want for Christmas. So that's the reports. How did they get there? Go to the code. So we have this refresh reports, and I'm handing out the code here, so I'm just explaining the code I handed out. So these are a bunch of data adapters that run SQL statements. data adapter, SQL select statement, data adapter, select statement, data adapter, select. So you can get quite advanced in these SQL select statements, but pretty much clear out. So we're going to put the returned compiled data set into an array in the web page. Here's those four. We're making 4 reports. So we got 4 arrays, and they're up on somewhere near the top, line 5 or 6. So in each case, all right, go data adapter, go run your SQL select statement. All right, so I just changed it. So clear the array, fill the array, show the array in the grid view, and then bind it. So it's just done 4 times. So let's take a look at the SQL statements. So I just copied them over into SSMS, and the data adapter is going to run the select statement over the connection, but we don't need all that right now. So we'll just bring that over here and then delete the rest. Now let's turn this into SQL formatting. So put the parameters, put the dimensions first, and then I like to put the metrics, each one on its own line, put the join on its own line, put the group by on its own line. Well, so now I put them so as a SQL developer you can understand what's going on. So I'll just run this first one. That gives a total of the totals by product. Dun, 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 dun. Totals by product. So 6 and 6024. 6 and 6024. So a group by query groups numbers by a dimension, or more than one dimension. The dimension here is by product. Dimension in the query number 2, group by sales ID. Total up the sales by sales ID. Total up the sales by product. Total up the sales group by product and within category, and that's just a little different, that it's filtered it to the top 10. The last one, if we notice, doesn't have any group by, which means there's no condensing or compiling going on. There is no group by. Oh, that's okay. So that's just going to get all the rows. By the way, how do you get this data back into this format to put it here? Let me show you how I do that. I start at the bottom, backspace, and then I usually hit the space bar, but because you can't run things together. Backspace, home, backspace, home, backspace, home, backspace, and now the whole thing can be copied into your ASP.NET webpage. Featherman, you told me that it's not a good idea to run SQL over the web. You should use a stored procedure. Well, that's another video, folks. So these data adapters are just pulling data. I really wouldn't do it this way, but this is a good stepping stone to running stored procedures, which is another set of videos. But we create the query in SSMS, copy it over into the web page, run it, and so let me get rid of that, and let me just spend the rest of this video here talking about group by queries. So, thing you got to know as an analyst or DBA with the group by query is what's the dimension, and what level of summarization is that dimension. If we grouped by month, you can group by day, week, month, year. So what level of summarization are you looking for? That's the dimension that you're going to use to summarize the data. Street, city, zip, state, county, those are all different levels of summarization. And you do need to pre-specify that level of summarization in a group by query. In Power BI, you could make a hierarchy, day, week, month, year, zip code, city, county, state. So you can drill down, up and down. But in a group by, you pre-specify what the dimension is. And again, this could be category if we want, but we would have to join in this one down here, select top 10. This could be, so let's just change this out. So what's the granularity right now? What level of detail is this third query here? Product. Because it's the most specific thing there on the group by line. And again, there's other group by query videos in this series. But I just wanted to show you can just get rid of the more detailed dimension or product within that dimension hierarchy, and then have a completely different query. So group by queries aren't great. You just swap out the dimensions. So these are about the same dimensions on each query. I just swapped out the I kept the measures the same, or the measures are being compiled into metrics, count and sum. But you can swap out the dimension. I swapped it out for product, put it in sales, swapped out sales, and put in category. Swap out category and put back products. So the metrics don't change. The measures don't change. Excuse me. The calculation of the metrics doesn't change. However, how you calculate those does change, whether you're grouping it by category and getting 4 lines versus top 10 here, or just all of them. But group bys do a condensing. You could sum any column, self-explanatory. You can count. Counting is count rows. You saw me count star previously. It's about the same thing as counting one of the columns. That just counts rows for a particular condition. So what did that count do? Number of transactions. So that's a measure of frequency. So we sold the red Pumas 4 times. That's a lot different than selling P51 Mustang shirts. Yeah. So anyway, a group by query, you specify the dimensions, and then you put that exact same list of dimensions, must, on the group by statement. And here, optional, order by. Maybe we could order by this first. What would you like to order this by? By units sold, by revenue, by product? So you can change that, but again, you make the changes in SQL here, SSMS, and then it's just home backspace, and then home backspace, and you might have to put a space in there just to keep them separated. Home backspace. That's the way I do it. Do it any way you want, but then you could copy that all into the data adapter, put quotes around it. So the error checking is pretty sucky in side Visual Studio. So you build the query inside SSMS, and then you copy it over. Don't forget to run your query over a connection. That's pretty easy to forget. We'll see you next time.